A very good evening and welcome to the national broadcast. I'm Mausha Dharmavardhana.
I'm Win Hettiarachchi and here are today's headlines.
The proposal to abolish executive presidency rejected by majority of the cabinet, says Minister Sajid. Receiving of nominations on the 7th of October. 31,000 police officers to receive promotions on President's instructions. Political victims to receive 700 million rupees as compensations. Disabled war heroes to receive 75% of the salary in addition to the pension, it is proposed.
On to those and other stories in detail now, starting with your local stories. A special cabinet meeting was held at the Presidential Secretariat today. Subsequent to that cabinet meeting, the ministry spoke to the media. Minister Sajid Premadasa said that he is ready to face the presidential elections. Whatever happens, there is no turning back. A great majority rejected the abolishing of executive presidency. Majority decision is to the victory in the presidential elections.
අතිමහත් බහුතරයක් කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයේ ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරා මේ වෙලාවේ 10ක ජනාධිපති ක්‍රමයේ අහෝසි කිරීමකට යන්න අතිමහත් බහුතරයක් කිව්වේ ජනාධිපතිවරණයට මුහුණ දීලා අපි ජනාධිපතිවරණය ජයග්‍රහණය කිරීම ගැන තමයි හැමෝගෙම වැඩිමහත් බහුතරයකගේ කැමැත්ත තිබුණා.
ජනාධිපතිවරණය කතා කරලා දින ජනාධිපතිවරණය එක්සත් ජාතිපක්ෂයේ ජයග්‍රහණය
Minister Harin Fernando said that the majority decision of the UNP is to first conduct the presidential election and then abolish the executive presidency.
මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ජනාධිපතිවරණය තියෙන විදිහට තිබ්බට පස්සේ අහෝසි කිරීම ගැන සාකච්ඡා කරන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් වැරදි වෙලාවකදී මේක සාකච්ඡා කිරීම අවශ්‍ය නැහැ කියන එක තමයි අද අපි ඉල්ලුම් කරේ. විධායක ජනාධිපතිවරණය අවසන් කරන්න.
Minister Mano Ganeshan said that as a principle agreeable to the abolition of the executive presidency, now it is not the time for that.
Meanwhile, the nominations for the presidential elections will be received on the 7th October from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. according to the announcement in the Gazette Extraordinary published in reference to the presidential elections. States the Election Commission. Candidates who take part in the presidential elections can pay their deposit from today till 12:30 noon on October 6th. Objections regarding nominees will be received at 11:30 a.m. on October 7th. A candidate from a registered political party has to pay a deposit of 50,000 rupees. An independent candidate must pay a deposit of 75,000 rupees. Only a former member of parliament or a sitting member of parliament can apply as an independent candidate for the presidential elections. The voters list of 2018 is valid for presidential elections, says Election Commission. A total of 15,799,296 voters are qualified to cast their votes in the upcoming presidential elections. This is the 8th presidential election that will be conducted on the November 16th. The extraordinary Gazette notification reference to the election was published last night.
Former Commander of Sri Lanka Navy, Admiral Vasantha Karannagoda, and former Commander of Sri Lanka Air Force, Air Chief Marshal Roshant Gunatilaka have been conferred the highest honorary military ranks at a ceremony held today. The ceremony was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena. According to an extraordinary Gazette notification, former Navy Commander Karannagoda was promoted as the Admiral of the Fleet, while former Air Force Commander Gunatilaka was promoted as Marshal of Sri Lanka Air Force. The formal presentation took place today at the Colombo harbour premises. Admiral of Fleet Karannagoda served as the Commander of Navy from 2005 to 2009. The first naval officer to obtain 2 master degrees, Karannagoda was a member of Royal Institute, serving as the Commander of the Navy. He commanded 4 operational naval commands on 7 occasions and rendered an outstanding service to the progress of Sri Lanka Navy. Admiral Karannagoda, who has the distinction of being the only officer to be considered to the highest seating of Commander of the Navy straight from a Naval Area Command, is the recipient of many gallantry awards such as Ranashura, Vishishta Seva Vibhushana, Uttama Seva and Purna Bhumi. Marshal of Sri Lanka Air Force Roshan Gunatilaka, who has appointed as the 12th Commander of Sri Lanka Air Force on June 12, 2006, retired from his post on February 27, 2011. Air Chief Marshal Gunatilaka joined the Air Force in 1978 as an officer cadet and in career spanning over 30 years, accumulated more than 4,200 flying hours on both fixed-wing and rotary-wing aircraft. Under his leadership, the Air Force was able to make a significant difference in the final stages of the humanitarian operation that brought an end to the conflict that had already taken significant toll from the nation. Ranavikrama, Vishishta Seva Vibhushana and Uttama Seva medals are several medals that were presented in recognition of his service to the country. Secretary to the President Uday R. Senaviratna, Defence Secretary General Shantha Kottegoda, Chief of Defence Staff, Tri-Forces Commanders, Inspector General of Police and others participated on this occasion. Member of the Political Bureau of Communist Party of China, Central Committee, Cheng Mina called on President Maithripala Sirisena yesterday at the President's office. They held a detailed discussion on a wide range of subjects on bilateral relations, economic cooperation and regional stability. They also discussed about increasing ties between CPC and Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The CPC delegation requested the President to send a SLFP delegation to participate in the next CPC convention.
Meanwhile, 31,000 police officers who have not received promotions for a long time are granted promotions on the instructions of the President. These promotions are expected to give to a range of officers, including police constables to police inspectors. The National Police Commission, Salaries Commission and the Management Services Department of the Finance Ministry have approved these promotions. The promotions are expected to be granted in 3 batches. Demarch on seniority basis will be granted from January 1st, 2019 and January 1st, 2020 and January 1st, 2021. It is expected to expedite the granting of promotions to 5,824 police personnel ranging from police constables to police inspectors in the first batch to be granted from January 1st, 2019.
Those who are victimized politically were paid a sum of 700 million as compensation under the aegis of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe at Temple Trees today. Monies to pay for these compensation were allocated by Ministry of National Policy, Economic Affairs, Resettlement, Rehabilitation, North Provincial Development and Youth Affairs. This was the second stage of paying compensation for those who were politically victimized. 502 persons received compensation for life and property loss. It was paid to loss under 1 million. In the first stage, under the category 500 victims received compensation. By now, 1,002 politically victimized persons have received compensation totaling 1,700 million rupees. Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam, Palitha Range Bandara and Sandit Samarasinghe and a large number of parliamentarians were associated within the event. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the presidential election will be a very independent one. There are no reasons to worry. Just see how blames are heaped on us. Have there been any attempt to stop that? Alliances of various types are created against us. These are all happening according to democracy. If they are scared of this, there will be attempt to stop such allegations. There is no fear. Elections are now conducted under an independent elections commission. Any mistake will come to their attention. The presidential elections as such will be an independent election. They do not need to come out carrying guns. There won't be any need to quarrel. Elections will be faced without any fear. We will become victorious. Similarly, parliamentarian elections too will be won. Throughout the past, there had been fair and independent manner of activities. As such, there is no fear of holding elections. Presidential election will be held with independence. Victory will be ours. The broadening of Bombuwala town in Kalutara, the development of Nagoda Thebuwala Road and the laying of foundation for the Dhamma school building for Sri Bodhi Raja Ramaya temple were conducted under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe this morning. Under the project, Bombuwala town will be developed into a town with all facilities. The Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development has allocated a sum of 85 million rupees for this project. Among the large crowd present at the occasion were Kalutara District Parliamentarian Lakshman Wijemanna, the chief organizer of United National Party of Mathugama, Jagat Pinnagoda.
The present government has provided the highest priority for education, States Minister Sajid Premadasa. He further said throughout development of schools, the doors of prisons are closed while creating an intelligent community in the country. The minister made these remarks during a ceremony held awarding buses under the Samata Sevena program to Madamulana D.A. Rajapaksha Mahavidyalaya in Hambantota, Veerakatiya. A modern bus was donated to the school at a cost of 4.6 million rupees. The award has been made from personal funds of the minister and monetary donations from private philanthropists. Over 1,200 school children will be benefiting from this program.
Expeditious action has been taken on the problem of disabled war heroes. In addition to their pension, 75% of that pension have been proposed to pay for them, declared Minister of Finance Mangala Samaravira in Parliament today. Minister of Finance Mangala Samaravira said that prior to this war heroes problem being remained, we have already focused our attention on it. In fact, a group of disabled war heroes met me at Mathura about 1.5 months ago. On listening to them, I came to the conclusion that they have a fair grievance to pay our attention. According to the present system, only fully disabled war heroes receive this salary for his pension during lifetime. The semi-disabled war heroes do not receive this facility. They also require money to pay for their medicine, to pay for their health care. In fact, their lifespan is shorter than what we think. As such, we have discussed this matter with the Defence Ministry and decided to allow their payment for the lifetime. Similar to fully disabled war heroes, we have proposed to pay 75% salary after retirement to the semi-disabled war heroes too. We have presented that proposal to the Ministry of Defence. We expect to release the payment after a week of observation.
Meanwhile, the Colombo Book Fair will be launched tomorrow and will be open to the public to the 29th of this month. The electronic media sponsorship of the exhibition is Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Annually, the Colombo International Book Exhibition is conducted centered around the month of September. In the year 1999, it was conducted for the first time at Colombo Art Gallery. Subsequently, it was organized at the BMICH Colombo. This exhibition will be conducted for the 21st year this year. 500 stalls will be participating at this year's exhibition. 50 of the world's leading and renowned book publishers will participate in the exhibition this year. Last year, 2 million visitors participated in the exhibition. This year, the exhibition will be declared open by the Indian High Commissioner Taranjit Singh Sandhu. And this year too, the exhibition is organized by the Sri Lanka Book Publishers Association. This year, the exhibition is organized to produce a complete person during a month of literature. The exhibition premises a new book will be launched every 1 hour, says organizers. The exhibition includes training programs and cultural events. The organizers stress that no polythene will be used in the exhibition. As such, visitors to the exhibition are informed to bring their own bag to the exhibition.
The Sihinekira Social Welfare Service was conducted at the Rupavahini Corporation premises today. The Social Welfare Service was conducted in parallel to the Sihinekira entertainment program produced by the music unit of Rupavahini. School children from a selection of schools from the Kalugala and Hewahata were awarded the school equipment collected by the audience of the program. The event was conducted under the aegis of Inotka Satyangani Kirtinanda, the chairperson of the SLRC, and Saranga Vijayaratna, the Director General of Rupavahini. The Welfare Society of the Rupavahini Corporation workers aided and abetted this project. The former Deputy Speaker of the British Parliament and the person who is acting on behalf of Sri Lanka in the present British Parliament, Lord Nesby, joined in an observation tour of the Colombo port city today. Lord Nesby stated that he is pleased with the development activities in the Colombo port city. He further said according to the future plans, the port city will be a great catalyst in the economic development of Sri Lanka. Lord Nesby pointed out that the Colombo port city is imposing a constructive influence on the economic activities in the Asian region. Minister Champika Ranawaka, who accompanied the observation team, expressed his views on how the port city influences the economic development in Sri Lanka.
I think the challenge is huge, the opportunity is even bigger, and we have to communicate to the potential investors around the world, and particularly the UK, what the opportunities are here.
Meanwhile, Minister Malik Samarawickrama says that the continuation of conductive economic policies will be dependent on the next government who comes into power after the forthcoming election. The minister said that he is confident that the present government will continue to enhance the economic policies in favour of a progressive development in the country even after the election. He made these remarks at an event held last night in Colombo. The 6th edition of Top German Brands in Sri Lanka award ceremony took place under the patronage of Minister Malik Samarawickrama. The event was organized by the delegation of German Industries and Commerce in Sri Lanka in collaboration with the German Embassy in Colombo. The keynote address of the event was delivered by Managing Director of Asia Macro Strategy of Deutsche Bank, Samuel Gall. The top 10 German brands in Sri Lanka were facilitated for their achievement during the past year.
German-Sri Lankan business relations are on a very good way. While Sri Lankan exports to Germany increased by 9% during the first half of the year 2019, German exports increased by 4% during the last 2 months, even by 13%. I think that's a positive tendency that we have recognized during the first half of the year in spite of all the difficulties. So the situation, at least for the German companies, is maybe a little bit better than the general feeling here. Regarding their respective industries, German companies in Sri Lanka evaluated the outlook more positively.
Sri Lanka has been elevated into an upper middle income country according to statistics last year. And our trade is growing satisfactorily. Your exports are growing much more than our exports to Sri Lanka. So we have a trade deficit with Sri Lanka historically. It was shrinking, now it's growing again. So we have to work a bit harder. I would like to say, in order to grow even more and to have more investors, I would like to see is more liberalization. For example, Sri Lanka has very dynamic port, but there needs to be more liberalization, especially in South Asia. Other ports are picking up, whether there are investment restrictions in the retail business, whether it's a level playing field for companies or transparency in tender procedures or less red tape. In short, ease of doing business has to improve to get even more and better growth rates.
I truly believe that the best brands are from Germany. We all know that German brands are globally recognized for their superior quality and innovation. The interest of German companies to be strategic partners of their Sri Lankan counterparts has been growing steadily. Sri Lanka exports has increased by 9.2% during the first half of 2018, and global exports have increased by 6.6%. You can see there's clearly a steady uptick in bilateral trade between our two countries, but I believe we should be able to achieve a much higher trade volume between our two countries. At the recently conducted business survey, that 62.5% of the companies declared that they have achieved their business targets in 2018. It's a good sign. And 75% have stated that the industry will stay unchanged or improve, which is also a good sign. But this, of course, depends on which government is in power next year. Despite the tragic Easter Sunday bombings this April, we are determined to soldier on, and our macroeconomic fundamentals remain strong and resilient. Sri Lanka is committed to going ahead with much needed reforms while being mindful of political realities. Our focus lies in ensuring continued macroeconomic strength, managing foreign debt situation, and creating the right climate for foreign investment. We are not taking any steps back from economic reform efforts, whether they are on doing business index or trade policy or investment facilitation. And I believe that after the next presidential election, I believe will be on 16th of November, we will be in a better position to implement these reforms. As the government continues to reorient the Sri Lankan economy towards a more private sector and outward-oriented economy, we look forward to close engagement with top German companies to join us on this journey.
New British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Sarah Halton, says that she will ensure to further strengthen the bilateral relations between the countries. She said that the Britain will continue to provide necessary assistance for the development of the island nation. She made these remarks when she met with the chief prelates of the Malvatta and Asgiriya chapters today. The new British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka made her first official visit to Kandy today. She paid her respect at the sacred temple of Tooth and called on Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Siddhartha Sumangala Mahanayaka Thera of the Malvatta chapter. Subsequently, the new British High Commissioner met with Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Jnanaratana Thera of Asgiriya chapter. She then met with Diyavajana Nilame of Temple of Tooth Relic Pradeep Nilangadala. The Diyavajana Nilame then presented the memento to the new British High Commissioner.
What I would like to say first is that I have been here 5 weeks today, and I'm very grateful for the warm welcome I have had to Sri Lanka. And this is my first official visit outside of Colombo today. It has been a pleasure to come to Kandy and to pay my respects at the Dalai Malagawa, and to meet the Most Venerables today and to exchange thoughts. We have a long relationship here, and we continue to look for ways to strengthen the bilateral links between us. It has been a pleasure for me to learn about some of the projects that we are working on together, and I'm looking forward to seeing those as I travel around the country. I hope next month to travel up to Jaffna. I think people will know we have had a history of doing mine clearance project work in that area. So as you say, there's a very wide range of projects that we work on together, and I look forward to seeing them as I travel around the country.
The High Commission of India in Colombo organized a celebratory event dedicated to innovation and skills, collaboration and cooperation, and talent and teamwork, facilitated under Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation yesterday. The High Commission of India has been offering more than 400 fully funded slots every year to officials in various ministries of Sri Lankan government and to other eligible citizens for short-term training programs in various institutes in India to enhance their skill sets. These have been facilitated under the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperating Program. Several iTech alumni from Sri Lanka who pursued various courses in India attended the celebration and also shared their experiences in India.
The iTech program has grown over the years, and currently participants from more than 160 countries visit education institutions in India all throughout the year to imbibe the Indian developmental experience and also share your own experience with us. Now, if you put this in perspective, there are almost 160 countries with the International Civil Aviation Organization. There may be very few international organizations which have 160 countries associated with it. Of course, we all are members of the United Nations. So just to put it in perspective.
Permit me, Your Excellency, to congratulate India and her people for conceptualizing and implementing this wonderful initiative iTech, that is technical and economic cooperation, as you said, which has been sustained so effectively over the years, from what you described of India having very simple facilities to what it is today and able to go to the moon. Your recognition of the importance of creating such lasting partnerships with your neighbors and beyond, and addressing the mutually important issues, because we all often have very similar issues, being all of the South Asian stock, actually brings about better inter-country cooperation in the different fields, not just in education, but in so many fields, which is very commendable, and I do congratulate you.
Meanwhile, the ambassador of Sri Lanka to the state of Qatar, Kitsiri Atulat Mudali, presented the letters of credence to Emir of the state of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, at the Amari Divan in Doha recently. The ceremony entailed the presentation of credentials followed by a guard of honor and playing the national anthem of Sri Lanka. While welcoming the ambassador, the Emir wished him success in his assignment and warmly recalled the cordial bilateral relations between the state of Qatar and Sri Lanka. The ambassador Atulat Mudali conveyed warm greetings from the President Maithripala Sirisena and expressed his keen interest of further enhancing the friendly bonds and close cooperations to new heights during the tenure of duty. Meanwhile, Saudi for Development has agreed to provide a concessional loan amounting to approximately $50 million to establish a medical faculty in the University of Sabaragamuwa. Dr. R.H.S. Samaratunga, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance on behalf of Sri Lanka, and Dr. Khalid Sulaiman Alukharderi, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director on behalf of the SFD, signed the relevant loan agreement at the Ministry of Finance in Colombo. Yesterday, the government has approved the establishment of a Faculty of Medicine at the Sabaragamuwa University and has allocated necessary funding through the budgetary allocations of the year 2017. In line with the government policy framework Vision 2025, the government views the provision and improvement of social goods such as education, skill development and healthcare as a part and parcel of its development agenda.
Organised criminal Kanjipani Imran appeared before the Government Analyst Department today for a voice test over the allegation of threatening police officers attached to the Kesalwatha police station over the phone. The police and earlier requested the courts to produce him for a voice test over the allegation incident. Accordingly, Colombo Chief Magistrate ordered to produce suspect Kanjipani Imran to the Government Analyst Department to record voice samples today when he was produced before the courts on September 17. Subsequently, the Chief Magistrate fixed further inquiries into this matter for September 20th. Kesalwatha police had named Kanjipani Imran as a suspect who had been abroad at the time over the incident in threatening and using profanity on two policemen who had been involved in raid over the phone. Hearing of case filed by Attorney General against former Chief Judicial Medical Officer of Colombo, Professor Ananda Samarasekara, was postponed until October 3rd. The case was filed against him for allegedly concealing evidence in Wasim Tajuddin murder. When the case was taken up, the defence attorney, who was supposed to present parliamentary objections against the case, was absent at the court. Accordingly, the judge ordered to postpone the hearing to October 3rd in order to present the parliamentary objections. On to your weather update. Met Department says that there is a high possibility for evening thundershowers occur in Uva and eastern provinces and in Mullaitivu and Polonnaruwa districts in next few days. Fairly heavy falls, about 50 millimeters, are likely at some places. Met Department also said that showers or thundershowers will occur in western, Sabaragamuwa, southern, central and northwestern provinces. Several spells of shower will occur in Anuradhapura, Jaffna and Mana districts. Fairly heavy falls, about 100 milliliters, are likely at some places in central and Sabaragamuwa provinces and Gaul, Mathura, Kaluthara and Gampaha districts. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning.
And that is it for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.